Okay, continue my version of the IGN's Marvel versus Star Wars. They actually picked Spider-Man to take on Luke. Now, of course, this is the Luke who appears to be from Empire Strikes Back. So not the expanded universe where he's become a master of the dark side, can control, black holes and move planets. That version would probably easily squash Spider-Man. So this, of course, would be the version primarily from the movies. So he's not going to have as extreme of powers as he's been shown to have in the expanded universe, which would be the books as well as some of the comics. Taking on Spider-Man. Now, everyone knows Spider-Man's moveset, so I don't need to go into that. And of course, at this point in time, Luke, fairly skilled with a lightsaber, and has some of the bare basics when it comes to his force powers. So as always, the 9 criteria to see who actually would have the best chance of winning. Okay, intelligence. Luke, moisture farmer. Peter, scientist. Who, depending on who's writing him, becomes a teacher at a college. So, moisture farmer who wanted to join the Empire because all of his friends were doing it. Who actually get to have some training by a Muppet who talks backwards. An African scientist who designed his own web shooters. Gotta give it to the scientist, flat out. Fighting ability. Spider-Man has had no official training. At least Luke has had some form of training. Yes, I know, having a blast shield down, needing to use the Force, and deflecting, small blaster bullets from a small, little training pod. Not much, but it's not like Spider-Man has sparring sessions with Wolverine or anything. Speed. Well, you got superhuman reflexes. Strength. Well, you got spider strength. Now, for invulnerability, they're both pretty much human. It's not like I've seen either one of them take more damage than somebody else. So that one, we're just going to put one out. No one really has an invulnerability advantage. Durability. He doesn't have spider healing. Can you theoretically, with concentration, repair wounds with the Force? Yeah, but Luke never quite got that far. So again, I'll put that one as an even since they're both humans. Yeah, he could use the Force to repair wounds, but at this point in time, he hasn't learned how to do it. So now we're down to energy projection. Yeah, Luke might not have a massive amount of abilities, but he can still essentially levitate and throw items. He can't throw them really fast, but he at least has some form of distance more impressive than web shooters. Web shooters, yeah, they're great in starting to do lots of unique array of things. But the moment he does, he has to do this to do things, and Luke can kind of just wave his hand and throw something small at him. Or pull something down from behind him. The Force will give Luke an advantage at distance. Okay. Now we're down to versatility. Do I think Spider-Man's ability to climb on walls and all of his heightened reflexes, and the fact that he can, crouch down really small, I think that Spider-Man has a wider array of abilities than Luke's Force abilities. And will the spider sense really help him against someone within the Force? And with all that, this one is almost kind of a toss-up here. So I'm probably going to actually end up giving it to Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man, I think, just has more skills. And since this is a relatively new Jedi in the way of Luke, Spider-Man's going to have a better mastery of some of his abilities. Now we're down to that X Factor. X Factor around is just entirely, it's that lightsaber. And how well Luke actually can use it. Because, in Empire Strikes Back, Luke does a decent job against Vader. You can tell he's just entirely outclassed. But it comes down to the lightsaber and some sort of additional force abilities. So, if Empire Strikes Back Luke were to face Peter Parker Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man's just got a little bit too much going on for Luke to handle. If this is expanded universe Luke, oh yeah, Luke has this in spades. This is Return of the Jedi Luke. He's got a better mastery of some of his abilities. I would probably give him the edge. But from the picture they picked from IGN, it is definitely Luke more. It's Luke in the lighter sort of costumes that we saw him wearing during Empire Strikes Back. So Empire Strikes Back Luke versus Spider-Man. Spider-Man takes it. It'll be a close fight, but I think Spider-Man's array of heightened reflexes, super strength, a much higher level of intelligence, and his vaster array of powers takes it. If it's Return of the Jedi, by that time Luke has honed more of his skills, more of his craft. I can see Luke taking it. If it's Expanded Universe, by that time Luke's got Force Lightning, can almost like stop time and can control black holes. If it's Expanded Universe, Luke takes us in a freaking heartbeat.